What's up, guys? Meshi here. We're going to be doing another episode of VRCHAT Paranormal Stories, where we go asking people on VRCHAT from all around the world if they've ever experienced anything paranormal. Tonight we have a bunch of crazy stories from ghosts, sleep paralysis, aliens. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks. Let's get into it.
It was like a 10-foot by 5-foot room, a real small room.
Right.
And I went to bed, and I woke up, and I was in some kind of like sleep paralysis. I don't know if y'all ever had sleep paralysis.
I haven't, but I have heard stories.
Yeah, it's when you basically open your eyes and you feel like you're awake, but you can't really move or do anything. It's like you're in a dream, but it's reality.
Right.
Like it's your actual room. It's not like some mystical thing. But I was like in sleep paralysis. And I looked around, I looked around in my peripheral vision, and nothing was there. I was just sitting there, and I was like waiting. I was waiting to wake up, or waiting to, when you're in a dream and you're not having a good time, and you figure out it's a dream, you want to wake up. So I was sitting there, waiting, trying to wake up, and I wasn't waking up. I was like, wake up, wake up. I just remember thinking, wake up, wake up. And I was sitting there, it must have been like 2 or 3 minutes went by when I was just trying to wake up. But then I finally kind of came to the conclusion, I'm like, this isn't a dream. Like, I'm awake right now. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I see out of the corner of my eye this weird, like a dark mass almost because okay, so the bed's here, the rest of the room is here, doorway is over here, right? So like I'm sitting with my head at the end of the bed here, and I can just like make out this dark mass coming kind of in the door frame, because there's a light on in the kitchen area, so there's like a silhouette of this thing, and I'm like, that's my dad, or that's my, I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, that's my dad, he's just coming to check on me. And I was sitting there, and I was like, I can't wake up, this is the weirdest thing ever. And this dark mass just comes kind of like across the doorway, left to right. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no way, like that was my dad for sure. And then from the right side, it comes back to the left, and then it stops midway in the doorway. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm still thinking, this is my dad, like, it's just the silhouette of my dad, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like, this thing starts coming into my room. And I'm thinking, at that point, I'm like, this is not my dad. This is something else. So I was sitting there, and I was waiting. I was waiting to wake up the whole time. I just remember thinking, I'm gonna wake up. This is just a dream. And this fucking.
Continue on my bad.
Oh no! I was like, basically this thing was just. I'm standing there, and this dark mass. I had no there's no features, right? No facial features. No like. You can tell it's like a humanoid kind of figure. It's like a dark head with a dark. There's darkness, basically darkness.
Right.
It's like a shadow.
Right.
But like
the void.
In reality.
The void.
Yeah, kind of like when you smoke a lot, like when someone smokes a bunch of cigarettes and it goes into the air, but it's dark, so it's got like a silhouette of dark smoke.
Shit. Yeah, haziness. Haziness.
Yeah, like a haze.
I saw that one at 50 Benedict.
I'm sitting there, and at that point I was like I was getting scared. I remember feeling really scared. I was like, this isn't the right. This is terrible. This is not happening. I need to wake up. And I remember thinking, I need to wake up. And this thing just kind of comes over me like a fucking like a banshee kind of, and just kind of like stares over me. And I was like, the whole time I was like, just wake up, and I couldn't wake up. And finally I remember feeling like ice cold. I remember just feeling this feeling of cold, and I was like, I just need to wake up. And finally I came out, and I was awake, but it wasn't like a dream wake up. It was like you just came out of it, and it was nowhere to be found. And I just got up, and I stood up, and I looked outside the room, and there was nothing there. And that was it.
It was
Dude.
It was a fucking dementa, dude.
That's insane.
Okay, bro.
RL, thank you for sharing.
That was like when I was a kid.
Thank you for sharing.
Hey, no problem.
Do you
man.
still have?
How did this even come up?
Do you still have sleep paralysis?
We were talking about a band. How did you guys get to this story?
I do it.
Yeah,
I have a YouTube channel where I ask people on VRChat if they ever experience anything paranormal, just like unexplainable.
Can I answer it?
Absolutely.
Can I answer it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually have two paranormal experiences. One that has to do with sleep paralysis. The other that has to do with like a paranormal experience. I'll make them fast because I don't want to talk for too long.
You talk. Talk.
First one's
Yo, build him up.
all right.
build him
First
up.
one's the sleep paralysis one, right? This one happened about 2018. Okay.
Okay.
Sleeping one night. I was in high school.
Right.
It was like a school night. I actually shared a room with my brother, and I woke up to someone's hands around my neck, and I couldn't breathe at all,
Holy
like squeezing extremely tight, like as tight as you can,
What?
and I could not breathe at all. And when, like, I don't know if you've ever had like an experience where it's like a life or death experience, but I was freaking the fuck out,
Yeah.
and I was getting choked out, and it was to the point where like I was like starting to lose consciousness. And I was like going crazy in my bed,
Really?
like rolling over, like trying to like, and I woke my brother up, and he kind of like ran over to me, turned on the lights because the lights are right next to his bed,
Yeah.
and then he had to grab my hand off me. I was choking myself out, just in the middle of my sleep. It's never happened before,
Holy shit.
but I was like, I don't know if I was possessed or something, but I was like choking myself out, and it wasn't just like hand around your neck. It was like choking myself out so I could like suffocate.
Yeah.
It was really scary. After it, and then he said I woke up like 3 minutes later, and I mean I had little or no recollection of what happened. It was really fucking scary though. It definitely, I couldn't go to bed. It was like 2 a.m. and I just did not sleep the rest of the night. I didn't sleep like the next night.
It sounds like
It's
a
fucking
really
freaky. Never
traumatic
happened again.
experience for sure.
It was weird, and never.
Yeah.
I don't really have sleep paralysis, so
And you haven't had it
Yeah.
since, really?
it was pretty
Yeah.
crazy. I haven't since. Like the only thing I can explain is like, holy shit, like I must have been possessed or something. Like
Hey,
I don't see a reason why I would choke myself out in my sleep.
I
It's
don't
weird.
I don't know
Um,
all things, but I do
yeah.
know that there's things that we don't know. We can't understand.
Probably, honestly, like I never believed in ghosts, but the first thing I could really think of was like either ghosts or I'm just like kind of crazy. Second story was
Yeah.
also when I was in high school. It was actually around the same time, maybe like 3 months apart.
Okay.
I was doing my homework, and I was always a procrastinator, so I was doing my homework at like midnight. And I was on my laptop doing my homework, and I was in my living room, and in my living room we have all these windows, right?
Right.
And out my window I could see this extremely bright light, like a spotlight shining down, and it was shining down in my front yard. So I was like, what the fuck? I opened the door and go out. It was so bright, it was like blinding. Like it almost felt like a helicopter was like pointing a spotlight at me. There's no sound.
I was
It
just
wasn't a
about to ask
helicopter.
that, but
And
there is no sound, right?
Yeah, there was no sound at all. It was silent, and it was big, like really big. Like it took up a good portion of the sky. And it was bright as fuck, like as bright, like brighter than the sun would be.
Wow.
And again, like midnight. And I was just looking at it, and I was freaked the fuck out. I was looking at it for 30 seconds, and I was like, I wish I had my phone on me because I could have videoed it. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? I was
Jesus.
just staring at it. I was like,
That's pretty insane.
it was so crazy. It was so crazy, and I was like, I was thinking of every possibility that like, what could it be? Like, it wasn't a helicopter. Helicopters are loud as hell, plane or anything like that. And so after staring at it for like 30 seconds, I ran inside, and this was when Game of Thrones was still coming out, and I think it was a Sunday night. I think that's when like Game of Thrones episodes came out.
Yep.
My dad was watching Game of Thrones out in our living room, or I think his room actually, and got him because he was the only one awake in my family. I was like, Dad, you gotta come out here. Like, there's some like insanely like supernatural thing. Like, you have to see this. It's like once in a life.
Right.
And of course, my dad was like super late. Like, he was eating ice cream or something like that. He was like, oh,
He was
one
like,
second,
yeah,
one second,
whatever.
1 second, let me finish the scene. I was like, no, you have to see it. You have to see it. You have to see it. He finally dragged him outside, and where we live is kind of cold. It was during winter too. It was like 20 degrees out. He was like, oh, fine. Gets his flip flops out, comes outside, and it's gone. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and he looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I'm like, I swear to God, I saw this. Like, I'm not hallucinating. I'm completely sober. I saw this extremely bright light, gigantic bright light in the sky shining down on me.
Dude.
And he thought I was crazy, and he went back into bed. He was like, "Are you serious?" He thought I was like messing with him or something like that.
Right.
So I felt really stupid. And I was like looking at Twitter or something like that to see if like anyone else had seen it. No one else saw it. I was like, what the fuck? I was like looking up all like certain possibilities that could happen. I was like looking up like on Google like bright light from the sky. The only thing I could think of was I think it was the reflection of the sun hitting a satellite and shining down on you. That was the only like reasonable thing I could think of that would like not be paranormal. But that's supposed to only last like 3 seconds, and it lasted like a minute and a half. So I was confused as fuck, and to this day I have no clue what it was.
Wow.
I'm sure there's an explanation to it, but I mean, there was nothing I could wrap my mind around.
Thanks for
that was
sharing,
like the only
though.
other like paranormal thing that's ever happened.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Both
Those
y'all.
are like the two
Thanks.
crazy stories I like telling people.
So I would make my bed every day. I would come back and the sheets would be fucked up, and I would be like, "Yo, there's some weird shit going on."
Really? So the room would be cold, the sheets would
Yeah.
be messed up randomly, the door would lock by itself. That's strange.
Exactly.
That's
bro.
strange.
It's so weird.
And then
so
you've
weird.
got multiple
I-
witnesses. Everybody in your house saw all this.
Absolutely, absolutely, bro. My mother would be like, "Yeah, no, the door would lock on me," and I thought it was like a fault of the lock, but sometimes like. It was a very analog lock, so it wasn't the type of one that would just lock automatically. So
Right.
we would just be struggling to get in the door, and it would just lock on us sometimes, and we would just be like, "All right, what the fuck is happening?"
That's not normal. That's not
So
normal.
weird. So weird. Her room was the only one that did that. And it was our rooms that would just be fine, but her room would be the only one that wouldn't like lock on itself.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, I'm not even joking, bro. So I'll let you go, bro. I gotta join us some friends, but
Hey.
yeah, no, the door, the room, everything was so weird.
It's kind
Nah,
of.
I'm
it's
ready to
more-
hear
it's
one, though.
more- It was more of like somewhat of foreshadowing an event, but 2 years ago, I had a lucid dream of someone warning me about my mom dying the next day at work and telling me exactly how she's going to die and everything. So I woke up and I was like, man, that kind of felt too real. So I was about to drive out to go check on her, and
Right.
while I was getting in my car, the police come at my car, and they like notified me like, "Hey, your mom passed away at work, and this what happened," and it was exactly what happened in the dream.
Oh man,
that
I'm
I
sorry to
had.
hear that.
So I was a little bit too late, but yeah, and I was just like, damn, they really did try to warn me, because they kind of like told me a way to avoid that happening. But I didn't really believe it at first until later on in the day when I went to actually go check, because it like stuck with me. But
There-
yeah,
More
I
than
guess
that's pretty wild. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's deep stuff. It's deep stuff. I'm sorry about your mom.
But there was,
Where?
I did have a potentially religious experience once where I was about to go to, or I woke up after like a night of playing games and shit, and I was kind of hungover or whatever, blah blah blah. But for some reason I was like thinking about religion or something, and I was like questioning, because I'm not a religious person, I'm an atheist, like I don't think about that kind of shit.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, well, if God was real and he really wanted to show me a sign, he'd fucking stop the rain outside right now. And I snapped my fingers and boom, fucking stopped raining. And it was like pouring. It went from total downpour, totally stopped.
Very weird.
And I kind of just stood there and I was like, I mean, it's like, well, okay, I kind of asked for that one, right? Because I said, okay, well, show me a fucking sign, and then it fucking immediately happened, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm still kind of an atheist, but at the same time, it's like,
Maybe I can have
okay, that was a little bit
kind
of a
of
weird
an
experience.
open mind now.
I mean, it could have been a coincidence, that's what my
Right.
analytical mind
I respect
says.
that.
Oh,
I
it's
respect
just,
that.
a chance, but it's like it's one of those weird things.
Hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was a great night, great stories. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.